you very much for the kind introduction. It's great to be with you here today. Particularly great, thanks Kate for the mum of one related introductions. I can also add mum of one here, and unfortunately wasn't here yesterday due to mum of one issues. So it's great to be back in the community today. So I'm Chief Scientific Officer at Vertical Future. We're a vertical farming technology and data company. We have a lot of R&D that happens in-house, and a lot of plant science. So we have a plant science team of 10 of us, and we spend a lot of our time, doing research work, looking into different varieties and different routes to grow varieties in order to make the best of our systems. So I'm preaching to the converted here. Improving global crop production requires continuous improvement. So the Green Revolution is an amazing example of this. There were varieties bred for yield. It massively revolutionized global productivity in agriculture. The FAO are estimating that there's a 70% increase in global food requirements by 2050 compared to sort of levels at the moment. And for that, we need what's being termed the second green revolution. And this isn't just varieties. We're looking at how we're bringing new varieties, but new technologies in. And this is the sort of work that we're really focusing on at Vertical Future. So our main sort of focus, I've used that word quite a lot, is on technology innovation to both reduce the impact and improve crop productivity. And our critical factor that we look at here is you can reduce the impact, you can improve the productivity, but the critical area is do not compromise on product quality. So our innovation pipeline, it's underpinned by foundational science. We have a team of plant biologists, we have a team of engineers who all work together to look at how we bring technology and crop science together. And all this looks at improving various different metrics, things like resource use efficiency, things like carbon embodiment, yield, quality. It's all really important that we focus on these areas. There's a bit of a tagline on this slide. We think that the future is a better, smarter, more sustainable crop production system. Just to add to that, no matter where in the world you are, efficiency and productivity are two of your core drivers. And we believe that the systems and data play a critical role in achieving this. So I've mentioned we're a technology company. 90% of our technology is built in-house. For us, that allows us to really change sort of the game within vertical farming. People have mentioned that it takes a while to get your facility up and running. It doesn't function optimally from day one because you're trying to make everything integrate. By working the way how we are, we've taken everything and we make it work together from the start because we build it all from the start. So all of your automation, all of your seeding lines, all of your robotics, all of your harvesting, the lights, the irrigation systems, all of that we build in-house, and we literally fabricate this stuff from the steel that arrives at our facilities. What we also do within this kind of structure is we are looking to maintain a minimal contact production system. So, people have talked about, so Kate, you were talking about a no-wash product. That's like the holy grail for vertical farming. You've got that opportunity by growing in a very controlled environment to really control what's on your crop, which allows you to achieve these enhanced shelf lives. Making sure that you've got minimal contact points throughout that process is also critical for your food hygiene. And then sort of bringing that technology and that data together is the game changer as well. So for those of you who were here last night, there was an award that Vertical Future won, which I'm incredibly proud of our plant science team for delivering on. We've looked at how you can use, multispectral lighting and control of that multispectral lighting to achieve 24% efficiency gains in terms of your energy conversion into biomass. We've got different nutrient delivery techniques which aim to conserve water and recycle nutrients. And we've also developed direct plant monitoring, which allows us to adjust the systems in response to what the plants are doing and what they want. So thinking about how that plant is photosynthesizing and giving it the light that it needs and no more. But successful production is more than just the hardware. It's actually about what you're growing as well and the selection of the varieties. I'm a plant biologist, so I'm going to spend the rest of my talk speaking about the plants and the varieties and how we're able to use what we do to produce the data that tells growers what is a better variety to grow. So variety selection is critical for productivity. This graph here shows some spinach and various different spinach varieties. And spinach isn't just spinach when you're buying it. There are many, many different varieties available. These have all been bred for open field agriculture. There are very few CEA-focused breeding programs out there producing varieties. There are even fewer, less to say near zero, that have actually commercialized any seeds out into the wider market as yet. And so what we did was we went to various different breeders, various different seed suppliers, and we worked with them to look at what their commercial offerings are, and we also persuaded seed breeders to open their cupboards and look at varieties that maybe didn't make the grade for outdoor agriculture. And we assessed these under a very simple lighting regime, nothing super fancy, no sort of crazy whiz-bang pops that we can do with our systems. And we just looked at simple, which varieties are yielding the most. And what we found actually was the older, what we're calling heirloom, open pollinated varieties, which have had less breeding focus on them, perform much, much better in terms of yield within a vertical farming situation. I'm a plant geneticist by background. A lot of this seems to come from the introgression of disease resistance that's heavily used within breeding. In the open field, which is where a lot of the breeding focus has been placed, there are challenges of disease. There are challenges of changing temperature, wildly changing water environments. Plants have to cope with that, and so the breeders have really focused on producing these robust varieties that can tolerate disease pressures and can tolerate a fluctuating environment. The older varieties are less tolerant of this, but that's a real opportunity within the vertical farming sector, is to take these older varieties and push them forward and essentially rejuvenate this ancient material that's currently out of favor with the open field growers. But, excuse me, yield is not enough. You can grow really high yielding varieties, but if they don't look good, if they don't have the quality metrics that your client, your retailer, your end consumer is looking for, it's not going to fly. So we took our 6 highest yielding varieties from the first trials that we ran, and we looked at them in terms of the commercial metrics. So in spinach, you're looking at things like leaf roll, you're looking at things like the stem to petiole, the petiole length, you're looking at stem to lamina ratio. And we found within these 6 high yielding varieties, actually 2 of them just did not make the grade. So we took the 4 further forward, and we carried out both trained panel, we carried out untrained panel, and we carried out shotgun metabolomics, so that we could look to see what was going on and whether we produced, whether these were all the same and it didn't make a difference, or whether you had different spinach varieties for different occasions. And so what you can see on this slide, there's 4 varieties in blue. You can see that on the PCA plot, they each inhabit a different quarter, which actually shows you almost have a spinach variety for every different occasion. So each different need of the food manufacturer, the retailer, you can produce different crops to satisfy those demands. Do you want something that's going to pop and really sort of make a difference and be like, the sort of the star of your show, or do you want a supporting character in your bagged salad, or in your sandwich, or wherever you find your spinach? So that was really very sort of interesting to see. And I think the really most interesting part, again, was looking at our really old varieties. The oldest variety, variety 6, which is in one of the quadrants, that was registered in 1886. It's an open pollinated variety. And when we talk to the untrained panels, which are essentially, your market, your consumers, they really noticed a difference in the flavor of this particular variety. So the other 3 you could kind of like hide in, whereas that one really made a difference. So again, new ways to find and routes to differentiate your product out. And we didn't just do our own quality assessment, we also worked with a major food manufacturer. We took them material that we'd grown and we let them compare it to their standard stuff that was coming in from open fields. And you can see the field grown versus the vertically farmed produce. It looks very different. You've got a very different sort of greenness of the leaf. You've got different sort of levels of leaf curl that you're getting. They really liked this. They particularly liked the fact that you had more texture from the leaf. And they liked the fact that there was additional flavor because that then enabled them to sort of like build that into their recipes. They also said that the produce from the vertical farm compared to the open field was much more robust than, which allowed it to sort of run through more of their manufacturing processes with much more sort of like fewer breakages of leaf, fewer sort of deterioration of quality. And that really matters when you're then putting a leaf product on a shelf. People are going to look at the bags, they're going to look through the windows, and they're going to look at what's inside, and they're going to make a judgment on your product based on that. But why do we do all of this plant science? It's not just for our own internal curiosities. You know, I am a plant nerd and I very much enjoy this work, but there is a commercial angle to this and there is something that we can make a difference. What we do with all this data is we put it into our software as a service system. It's called Diana. It underpins all of the vertical future farms that are installed around the UK and wider around the world. And what it does is it delivers all the data that we're producing centrally in our R&D facilities and then sort of using sort of like from wider networks to be able to produce crop production profiles. So we can link variety with light diets, with nutrient recipes to give the best quality product for the most efficient means of production as well. So thank you for listening, and I'll look forward to some questions when we all sit down together.